G'day, welcome to the Aussie Woodworker. I thought I'd share my experiences with dust collection in my workshop over the last 20 years when I first started with a dust collector. It was a single, or just 1 horsepower GMC brand. It was $99, very cheap. Had a felt collection bag and a felt filtration bag on it. At the time it did the job. It managed just to sort of keep up with a jointer and a thicknesser. At the time I didn't have a table saw, so it sort of, for what I was using it for back then, I got by with it. But over the years, it lasted 15 odd years, so I definitely got my money's worth out of it, that's for sure. Did have a 10-inch plastic impeller on it, which was keywayed, which eventually stripped out, and I think that was from each time of the initial startup of the shaft on the motor spinning very quickly, it slowly wore away at that keyway. So once that happened and it basically stopped working, I thought it was time to bite the bullet and spend some money and buy something else. So I decided to go for a 2 horsepower unit made by a company called Havco. In Australia, this is basically sold by a company called Hare and Forbes. So I bought one of those probably 18 months ago. When I initially bought it, I thought what I'd do straight away would be set it up as a 2-stage unit, where it'd have a separator separating the big chips down into a bin, and the fine talcum powder sort of dust going up into the bag. But once I thought about that for a little bit, what I wanted to be able to do is compare the difference, if there was going to be any, from the way that the collectors intended to be set up by the manufacturer to, there's multitude of ways of turning them into a 2-stage unit. So I got it home, set it up as per the manufacturer's instructions, hooked up the 5-inch hose to it, which was, I bought 5 metre length of that, fired it up, and boy, I could not believe the difference in the airflow between that 2 horsepower unit and the original GMC 1 horsepower thing I had for 15 years. It was like the GMC one wasn't even working. So I ran it for probably, might be 6 weeks, 8 weeks, set up as per the way the manufacturer intends you to do it. And then I thought, well, the things that I didn't like about it were emptying the plastic collection bag was fine. Emptying it's not a hassle, it comes off easy. Putting the plastic collection bag back on, pretty awkward. Need to be like an octopus trying to hold the bag around the back while you're getting the front on, and the spring clip, so forth. Probably many of us have been through this. The other thing I didn't enjoy was the fabric bag that comes with the filtration bag, needle felt bag or whatever they call it. Once that gets a bit of blockage or a bit of build up of dust inside, down goes your airflow. Take that off, try and shake it off outside if you wanted to, or I was running my shop vac over it to try and clean it out. So those were the 2 things that I didn't enjoy with it set up that way as per the manufacturer recommends. So I thought, okay, well, I'll turn it into a 2-stage unit, and why not try the thine baffle system. So what I did is pulled it all apart and turned this part of the unit into the thine baffle. Obviously there used to be a piece of phenolic coated ply on the top here, and used to have a 5-inch hole drilled in the top of it where the hose ran from here up to the motor, which I mounted on the wall. And then obviously below here there was a groove in the bottom here that fitted over the rubbish bin that I used. So the theory was dust would come in this end, spin around in there, drop through the slots down into the rubbish bin, and the fine talcum powder stuff would go up into the leader fault bag. So what I ended up, once I tried this system, what I did notice was a fair bit of drop-in airflow at the table saw. Nowhere near as good as coming straight from the 5-inch outlet at the impeller straight to the bottom of the table saw. You know, a fair bit, I'd say probably 25% I lost. And I've got no way of measuring any of this. Don't have any meters, airflow meters or anything like this. This was all assumed by what I could feel from the end of the hose and hear the airflow to what I got at the top of the plate here on the table saw. So there was a fair bit of drop-in pressure or in airflow. So I thought, well, what other options? I wasn't happy with that. You know, whether or not I haven't done this, you know, there's plenty of guys out there that in theory, you know, tell me if that's, you know, if I gave you the measurements, you know, is that truly 120 degrees? You know, am I too wide here, too narrow? I thought, well, I'm not going to play around with that anymore. You know, make up another plate, try wider openings, you know, whatever. I thought, what's my next option was to get a Cyclone. So I went out and did that, and I'll show that to you now. Start at the top up here. The motor is bolted to a piece of form ply, an old coated form ply, 17mm. Bolted right through the ply, 4 bolts on the back, and then that piece of ply has 2 French cleats on the back, and they're screwed round about every 100mm into the phenolic ply. And the actual French cleats are made out of Murbu timber, and then there's 2 French cleats fixed to the walls through the studs using 14 gauge by 75mm batten screws. Big, heavy gauge stuff. This is not going to come off the wall at all. No way would that happen. So that's bolted onto the wall. 5-inch hose coming down to the Cyclone, which I bought off eBay. It cost me $280 delivered from Sydney to Melbourne, which I thought wasn't too bad. So then it drops down here into a galvanised rubbish bin. Simple way, it's got just a bit of clear plastic that I cut off a screw box. The screws come in, cut that into the front of it so you can see level the sawdust. If you want to empty it, it is a tight fit. Obviously, it just comes off like so. I just allow that to hang there. It's, you know, that's not too heavy. You know, it's not 10, 20 kilos. No issue there. Empty your bin, and then it's just a matter of locating the bin back onto those grooves. Push it down on it, and away you go. Obviously, 5-inch hose runs all the way to the table saw. When I did first run it to the table saw, the bottom of the table saw had a 4-inch port in it. So I did reduce down from 5-inch to 4-inch. Since then, taken the plate out of the bottom of the table saw, enlarged that hole to 5-inch, put a 6-inch to 5-inch reducer in there. And that allows me to run 5-inch all the way to the bottom of the table saw, which has given me pretty good airflow. You'll see that there's no collection bag here, no pleated filters, needle felt bags or anything. I'm venting outside. This runs up through the roof along the eave lining, comes out the vent out in the backyard here behind this roller door. Yeah, I have a neighbour. Yeah, people are going to go, oh, what about the dust? You know, your neighbour. Yeah, the amount of dust that comes out through that vent is minimal, absolutely minimal, and it's pretty fine. It's like, you know, the finest of talcum powder. But one thing I do intend on doing, because you vent outside, a lot of the noise seems to come out through that vent. It's not very loud in here, but if you're standing out the backyard near that vent, it's a bit like standing behind a jet engine, sounds like. So what I will do in the near future is I'm going to take it out of the chute, run it up through the roof of the house, probably up over here up here near the ridge, close to the ridge, and just use a cowl, a galvanised fluid with a cowl on top, what the same as what they use for venting range hoods in kitchens externally. I'll give that a try and see if that sort of quiets it down a little bit. I think it's on a remote. Remote I have all the time, mounted just with a bit of Velcro. It's mounted on the inside of the switch for the table saw. What I'll do now is I'll fire it up and just show you what sort of airflow or suction I've got at the zero clearance plate on the table saw. I'll turn this extractor on and hopefully over the noise you'll be able to hear the air pulling my hand down onto the plate here. So to me in here that's not too loud, it's not deafening, but obviously you would want to be where it's near protection over the PPE doesn't go astray. Not too sure if the audio will pick that up, but it's a fair good suction. Maybe the plate in if I want it. Takes a little bit of effort. Can't get it there. So it does have good flow. It's got fairly good dust collection of it. Being a contracted saw. I think the box here at the bottom, it doesn't have, I'll turn that, it doesn't have a shroud around the blade. I think if my table saw was a full cabinet saw and it had the shroud around the blade, I'd have no problems with any dust coming out on top of it at all. Depending on which sort of cut you're doing, melamine seems to get a little bit. Of course, if you're taking 5 mil off a panel, or just the width of the curve, I don't think there's too many table saws that actually take that back in through the table. I think it just naturally comes out on top of the table there. Yeah, so that's my experience. With dust collection over the last 20 years, from where I started with the cheap $99 1 horsepower unit, which served me fine. If you're starting out and you're on a tight budget, like we all are, and depending on what you're doing, they'll serve you, fine. There's, you'll get years and years of use out of them. But I thought, maybe explaining what I've been through might help some other people that are thinking about changing their system into a two-stage, and what I've found about turning the actual, your round drum off your unit into a thigh and baffle. Plenty of videos on how to make those things. Yeah, and that's about it. Hope you found it useful, and until next time, it's Uru.